Thank you very much, Jeff. And let me just say what an honor it is to be working with you on this project. He himself is a social innovator, so a great person to work with in honoring others who are innovating in so many different ways. And let me also say what a great privilege it is to be here with so many friends and so many inspiring leaders. I have the honor tonight to briefly introduce Americans for Informed Democracy, the co-sponsor of tonight's gala. And let me just start, for those of you who aren't familiar, by saying that we are an organization that is devoted to bringing the world home to the next generation of leaders and to inspiring agents of change who can tackle today's most pressing issues, like climate change, like poverty, and like terrorism. And as you will hear in the Young Innovators, we have made great progress over the last 5 years in really creating a global generation that gets it and that realizes that America is at this historic moment in its role in the world and that wants to make sure that we use this unparalleled economic and military opportunity to really constructively engage other countries and to solve challenges that no nation alone can resolve. And just to give you a little bit of background, our organization was started 5 years ago this month. It was started by young Americans, including myself, and the experience that led us was very much one of, I think, a social entrepreneur. And that is why it is so exciting to see so many social entrepreneurs in the room. I was one of about 40 young people who went abroad just after the 9/11 attacks. And as you might imagine, it was a really traumatic time to be going overseas. And when we got to London on September 19th, 2001, all of us were really worried about whether or not others would be able to understand what we were going through. And I lived in this really vibrant Pakistani community in London called King's Cross. And against my own better judgment, when I got to this area of the city, I was very worried. I'd only really seen images of Islam, in this case, after 9/11, and as you might imagine, those were not positive. And I got to this community, and literally from the moment that I stepped in, people noticed my loud American accent, and they were grief-stricken. They went out of their way to bake me goods. They engaged me in all sorts of conversations. And I went from being fearful to trustful very quickly. And I was amazed at how much opportunity there was for this Jewish kid from Boca Raton who really hadn't been exposed to this part of the world. And it was so inspiring to me to meet people who really shared this common value system and who wanted to work together to figure out how we as a youth generation solve so many challenges that we might say some older generations hadn't completely resolved. And it is amazing what's happened since then. We really wanted, we said, to bring the world home because we believed that there was an opportunity for us as young people to share this interconnectedness that we felt when we were abroad. And it wasn't just on one issue. We had this sense right after we got there on an issue that we came with. But we also picked up so many others. In October, the month after I got there, I joined with about 25,000 young people in Trafalgar Square to listen to Nelson Mandela talk about debt relief. And I had never known debt outside of a credit card. And I saw all of these people my age who cared about a part of the world that I had not been exposed to. And it was amazing to me that the big question in a lot of these rallies was, where would America be on these issues? Because we have the greatest opportunity given our vast economy. And I didn't even know about these issues. And I really felt like this was a huge opportunity. And then when we were there, we started hearing about climate change, another thing that we, at this point in 2001, knew only very little about. And we saw this huge opportunity and a huge challenge. And the opportunity was that we were this country at a crossroads with a very strong value system about being a good neighbor. And we also had this challenge of a lot of people not yet knowing about these tremendously important issues that our country played a profound role in influencing. And we really believed that there was a model or a tool that we could create that could give this increasing generation that really senses interconnectedness the tool to bring the world home and to inspire our communities and our country to use this moment to make a real difference on issues that we can play such a role in influencing. And what we did essentially was we created networks, and we began bringing everyone together, and we began looking at the initial opportunities to engage our communities, and began looking at return on investments. We had a number of business students that were involved from early on, and we began trying to think about how we take this opportunity of all these young people who are connecting with the world and empower them to bring the world home. And that group is now Americans for Informed Democracy. What we are doing on a daily basis is we are giving young people the opportunity to come to a summit where they can learn in depth about these issues, and then very specific toolkits that they can bring them home to their communities and get their universities to divest from Darfur, to sign a clean energy agreement, to make an initiative on their campus to realize the goals of the One Campaign for Development, to hold an interfaith dialogue so that we break down stereotypes while there are students from all different backgrounds living under a common roof. And where we're at today is a network of about 23,000 young people, growing quickly, a country that increasingly is aware of our carbon footprint and our opportunity to make a difference in the lives of people around the world through poverty and debt reduction, and a sense that we have to solve issues of terrorism through comprehensive approaches that include a cultural and diplomatic understanding. And we are hopeful that with the young people that are here, we can continue to inspire that type of global ethos and continue to harness this very special moment and the unique interconnectedness of young people to bring a more complete picture of the world home so that people understand how we can live up to our values in the world. That is a little bit about who we are and what we do, and over the course of tonight you'll hear about some of the exciting stories. Let me just say before I depart how incredibly honored I am to be even speaking at a gala honoring the individuals tonight. The innovators who are here are all truly heroes of mine. They are doing work that is the most impactful and the most socially conscious you can imagine, really integrating business strategy with conscience. And they are certainly a role model to live up to if one could dream of such a thing. And the young innovators here are all folks who you look at and I guess backwardly say, I wish I had done that in college, which I guess is a little bit late for me. I'm already feeling a little old watching how much they've accomplished in so little time. Clearly, that is not maybe your perspective on me. So it's now my privilege to introduce Beth Brooke, our Master of Ceremonies. You can read her full bio in your notes, but let me just say that Beth is an absolute inspiration. We first met when I was in Aspen last summer, and I was very shy at this conference because I was one of the younger folks, and she actually went out of her way to engage me, which was incredibly kind, and I think very characteristic because she's someone that is leading one of the world's largest accounting firms, and yet uniquely down to earth, which is in addition to the fact that she is a leader in corporate social responsibility, a board member at numerous nonprofits that are changing the world, and a very vibrant thinker. And so she's a perfect person to master our ceremonies tonight. Beth.